What is up, cats? How we doing today? Good to see you. Good day. Patriots always lift up Patriots. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, anywhere. YouTube. I'm all over the place. Yes, I even battle on TikTok. Yes, I do. All right, check it out. When I first got I wouldn't say my start as far as doing videos for YouTube or any of the likes. I got into getting on live streams about 7, 8 years ago. And this gentleman, Paul, he just gave me the inspiration, and I needed to let you know where I got that, and it was to make um, homemade wine. And I thought that can't be done, so I'm gonna play through this and react to it a little bit. But I want to shout out some love to Paul because he just gave me an incredible boost to get. I was a lead singer in a band, and that's different because you're live and you can read people. But when you put your face up here, you know, you got to kind of do a little bit of a different switch of gears. So check it out. Here he is.
Hey, Christmas is coming right here, right now. This is the last week of October, and my wine takes about 3 weeks to make, depending on how warm it is. It has made in 3 days, but that was in a hot car locked up in the trunk in the sunshine of July. Well, here's a wine jug. This is 3 liters. And 3 liters, I believe, is approximately 101 ounces. And I use Welch's frozen concentrate grape juice.
Now look, man, if you go through, and I suggest that you like, subscribe, and share him. You go through his videos. He's got many more videos on updating how he does his wine. So now he's taking it all the way where he can do it just right out of a Welch's juice bottle. It's absolutely amazing. And I'm going to tell you, I actually did the wine myself.
And you take this and 3 cans of water, and that's going to make you 46 ounces. And 46 times 2 is 92 ounces, okay? So that's going to be pretty close to filling it up, but we've also got to add our sugar. So, let me get these cans open. Let me get the water hose turned on so we can make this stuff.
He's using, like we did when we were little, man. He's using the hose, man. That's the best, man. He does it cheap. And
I have my Harbor Freight funnel. You can't do nothing without Harbor Freight. They have a 4-pack of funnels for 99 cents. I had to get one.
You're not going to believe how easy this is.
Whew. Well, that stuff is stout when it's concentrate. Anyway, what you want to do is you want to let your grape juice thaw out. You buy it frozen, let it thaw so it's easy to pour, of course. And it's not as cold when it comes to dissolving your sugar. All right? So, I want you to pay attention to what order I do this in. First thing I need is I need to empty one of these. So,
get yourself some.
We're going to empty it right in there. Now let me get my garden hose turned on. All right.
There you go.
So we need 3 cans of water. 1, 2, 3.
It just leaves the water running. I love it.
Now what I want to do is I want to add my sugar.
There you go.
It don't matter what brand of sugar it is. Sugar is sugar. And in a gallon, I put about 3 to 3.5 cups. But this ain't quite a gallon. This is only 3 liters, so I won't be using a full 3 to 3.5 cups. And I couldn't find a measuring cup, so I'm going to use this 15-ounce soup can.
Because he does it cheap. It's smart though, right? That's smart.
That's a little less than 15 ounces there.
Now, after watching a lot of his videos, the more sugar you do, obviously, the more the taste of the wine is sweeter, right? The less sugar you do, and this is including the sugar in the concentrated grape juice. The less sugar you use, the more it's going to have a drier flavor.
Now, of course, you know what happens when you screw up. The reason I told you to pay attention to what I was doing is I put that liquid in that funnel first.
Boom.
See how I'm covering up my stuff? Anyway, the sugar don't want to come out because it got in that wet funnel. So I'm going to have to get me a stick and poke on it.
There
we go. Now, I hope I learned you something right there.
You did.
Don't be pouring sugar down no little old wet funnel. Unless you got a stick. Little more.
Why not? He likes his sweet. He likes his wine sweet, by the way. His wife, Mrs. Paw Paw, she likes it a little bit dry.
Now this is gonna be. Now I like a sweet wine. That way you don't take as much. Plus, more sugar you use, more stout it is. All right, now before I add a can of grape juice, need a little bit of yeast. Now, they have winemaker's yeast, and winemaker's yeast is wonderful. I've used it before, but it's not necessary.
And this is a known fact. If you go on checking out with people that make their own beer, their own liquors, and their own wines, they'll all pretty much tell you, other than maybe some more, upper level people, they will tell you almost any yeast works. And I know that. That's true.
And you don't need a whole pack neither. Matter of fact, a whole pack will do a 6-gallon jug. You know them big water bottles? So I'm just going to use some of it. Not that much right there. That's plenty. That was probably half a pack. It's probably 10 times more than I needed.
Some people also tell you to get a glass of warm water with maybe a teaspoon of sugar in that water and dissolve it, and then add yeast to that water before adding it to the big batch, and that'll be like sort of a starter of it. But he don't do that at doing it cheap. Paw Paw says put it right in.
But it don't matter, because more yeast it's got in it, the faster it's going to work. You just want to make sure that you don't use hot water. Hot water will kill your yeast.
Right. Only lukewarm.
All I'm going to do is shake this up real good. And when I think I've got it all dissolved, I got to shake it some more. So I'm going to pause the video for that. All right. Well, I've shook it up, but I can do more shaking after I finish the video. So now then it's time for more grape juice.
Which brings a little more sugar.
So what did we learn? Dry ingredients down a funnel first. More garden hose.
This is pretty much it. Now, I want to thank Paw Paw for giving me, a lot of guidance back in the beginning. And what he'll do is he'll just crack the lid a little bit. Now, when he uses the plastic jugs to do it, he can squeeze the jug, and you can see the cap just lifts up.
All right.
This is glass. Can't do that.
It looks like it's about full.
There you go. That just made it perfect right there. Just that little dip he did.
Now, I know that if you've watched homemade wine videos or even how to make wine the fancy way. I'm sure that you have heard of people using a balloon on the top of the neck of the bottle, or used a condom. I know one lady, she uses condoms, and they get all swelled up real big. Her lady friends come over and see them things sticking up on top of her wine bottle. They get excited.
Innuendo.
Anyway, and some people use the thing that sticks in top of a wine bottle
right.
or a big old jug, and it's an airlock. It's got a little bit of water in it.
They're good to have, though, by the way.
Sort of like a plumbing
Airlocks
drain.
are cool.
And the idea is to allow the gases that form during fermentation, is to allow those gases to escape. Well, that's totally unnecessary, as long as your jug or bottle is not sealed tight. Now, if I was still buying milk like I did whenever I had kids at home, I would use a plastic milk jug, because you mix it up in that gallon jug, and then you just barely crack that lid on that milk jug.
I forgot he said
and
that.
Squeeze the jug, and if you can hear air escape, psst, psst,
I haven't watched this video in like
that,
6 years.
Just you can barely hear it. But if you can hear it air escape, then you know that as you build up your fermentation, as the gases build up, they can't escape, and your jug's not going to explode.
All right, so right at the end here, let's see what these...
Broom closet's fine, just anywhere. And, come by and check on it after about 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2
You
weeks.
take your little flashlight and shine down here, you'll see bubbles. You'll see tiny little bubbles working. You'll say, yep, it's working.
All right, so that's it. What he will do is, with beans it's glass, he'll turn it all the way till it's just tight enough you know it's going to lock up, and then he backs it off about a half a turn. And that is basically all you'll need. And the closer that you fill that liquid up to the tippy top of that neck is bad, because you need some bubble room. For the fermentation, it will create bubbles. He's absolutely true with the fact that once those bubbles completely stop, your wine is ready to go. Now, I do want to say I did this, and I had a good friend down here in North Wildwood that I knew his wife and him compared to we like wine. And when I did my first batch, I was actually a Merlot drinker. And my first batch probably didn't have enough sugar in it to get it a little bit more sweeter. But when I tested it, I have to tell you, man, if you would have put 2 wine glasses in front of me and poured mine and poured, a good Merlot in the other one, it would have been frightfully hard for me to tell the difference. So I invited this gentleman over. Or no, he was picking up his son. And I walked out with a wine glass. He's like, "Oh, you enjoy wine too?" I was like, Yeah. You want to taste it? And he's like, "Sure, I'll have a glass with you." So I brought it out, and we sat out there, talked for a minute. And he was like, "This is really good. I'm not really familiar with it. I can't place it." I said, "Yeah, that's because I made it." And he didn't believe me. And I brought out my jug, and I showed him. I made this in our laundry closet. I just stowed it away in there and did it in our laundry closet. So anyway, big shout out. I'll put a link in the bottom to Paw Paw's page. Big shout out to Paw Paw. Thank you so much for just being an inspiration. It's been a long time. If you want to reconnect, I'm good with that. You can find me all over the place. Drop me a DM. We'll exchange numbers and chit chat. All right, man. Peace out and love one another.